In this quick start beginner lesson, we're going to be concentrating on the B minor chord. So B minor is typically one of the first bar type chords that a beginner will learn. And there's really no way around it. Bar chords are tough. It takes a lot of practice, but you really have to learn it because B minor is common in a lot of songs. It's common in the key of G, which a lot of beginner songs that we try to play are in the key of G. So I'm going to show you in this lesson a few different ways to play it. But the goal always should be to work toward playing the full B minor bar chord. If you don't know what a bar chord is, it's where we bar using one finger more than one string at a time, and then the other fingers complete the chord. Okay, so you see I'm playing a B minor bar chord right now. You see how this finger is straight and these are arched, and that's the part that I think people have trouble with. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can cheat it a little bit at the beginning, so at least you can kind of learn some songs and stuff, and when you come across the B minor, you don't say, the heck with that song, I can't play a B minor. I don't want that to happen. So, but again, the goal should always be to work toward playing the full B minor bar chord. All right, so this is the B minor bar chord. I'm barring the A string all the way to the high E string, and you should be able to get every string to sound out. Just try it like that. And just pick down the strings and make sure that they all ring out. If you're not getting them to ring out, then you need to adjust something. You can try sliding your finger down just a little bit, or sliding it up a little bit. You can try rolling your finger a little bit. So, you know, right here it's real fleshy, but back here it's a little more bonier. So you might be able to, or I'm sorry, that would be this side is a little bonier. You might be able to push down the strings a little easier if you kind of, see how I'm kind of rolling my finger back just a little bit? It's not perfectly straight like that. It's more rolled back. Okay, so you could try that. Once you can get those notes to sound out, then you're going to play your third finger on the 4th fret of the D string, like a power chord. Then the pinky goes underneath that on the 4th fret of the G string. So make sure you can get all those. Then your second finger goes on the 3rd fret of the B string right there. And then, you know, your first finger is already covering the 2nd fret of the high E string. And that's your full B minor chord. Now, I know right now you're saying my hand hurts, this is hard, and it is. You just got to practice it. The beautiful thing about it is this is what's called a movable chord shape. So once you get this, and you can play that, you just slide it around and you'll be able to play all the minor chords. So that's B minor, you move it up a half step. Now it's C minor, C sharp minor, D minor, D sharp minor, E minor. So you just have to learn it once. You've got to be able to play it. So as you're working on that, if you need to, you might need an exercise to kind of help you get used to barring in general. And one thing you can do is start by just barring 2 strings. So you're just barring B and high E. See if you can get those 2 to sound out. Then add a string. Now I'm G, B, and high E. See if you can get those to sound out. And kind of just work your way up. And then also practice, once you get to where you can't play the string, so like, say you can play high E and B, and then you add G and it sounds good, but when you go to D it doesn't sound right, go back a step to the ones you can get to sound out, high E, B, and G, and then just practice moving that. Now when you move it, play it, and then just release the pressure. Don't take your finger all the way off, just release pressure, move up to the next fret, and just keep practicing that. And what that'll do is that'll help build up muscle in your finger to make it easier. It's like an exercise. Just like doing push-ups or something, right? And practice moving it back. What you don't want to do is be pushing down hard and keep pushing and slide. You don't want to do that. Just release the pressure. So the pressure's down, now I'm releasing, now I'm moving up, pushing down. Release, move up, push down. Release, move up, push down. Okay, so that's an exercise. And eventually, you know, work your way up to grabbing the D string, and then eventually the A string. And then, once you get that down, you try adding your other fingers on. And then, hopefully, eventually, you'll be able to play the full B minor bar chord. Now, that's the main goal. In the meantime, here's a couple cheats for you. You can just play part of that chord. So the easiest one is, so this is the full one. We're just going to play 2nd fret, high E string, 3rd fret B string, 4th fret G string. And that'll get you all the main notes of the B minor chord. The problem with this is it doesn't have, it's all the high strings, so it doesn't have any bass to it. So that's that. Hear the difference. Sounds a lot fuller when you play the full chord. Now you can build upon that a little bit and play, move your 3rd finger up to the 4th fret of the D string and put your pinky on the 4th fret of the G string like that. Now you can play D, G, B, and high E. Sounds a little fuller. It's better. We're only one note away, and we got it. But in the meantime, if you can't do your bar yet, you can play it this way. One other way to add the bass in, but not get quite the full chord, is you basically play the same thing you played as the bar chord, but you don't have to bar. You just play the 2nd fret A string. But you've got to make sure that you don't play the high E string, because since you're not barring, you'll get a different note. You get that, and that doesn't sound right. Or you can kind of just let this finger rest on the high E string and mute it. And just mute it, and no one would know if you were strumming along. So out of those other 3 alternatives, I think I like this one the best because you have the bass note. It sounds fuller. This one's not bad. This one's okay, but it doesn't sound great. But it'll at least get you by in the meantime. So there's your lesson on how to play a B minor chord. It's one of the hardest chords to get down for beginners. But like I said, once you get it down, you'll be able to play all the other minor chords because it's a movable chord. So that's the lesson on B minor chord.